I just told the guys that's a culture win, because you don't win that game if you're not physically tough, mentally tough. We call it hard to kill. And the one thing we're hard to kill. We won't go away.
That was Coach Kirby telling the Bulldog Nation these dogs are hard to kill. We love it. The Dogs have a much-needed bye week, so we're going to go inside the doghouse. We'll round up the SEC, ACC, and the top 25. And about the Ramblin' Wreck, the buzz is getting louder in Atlanta, plus NFL and a grab bag of topics and teasers you don't want to miss. I'm Dana Kinney. The guys are all here raring to go, and we're jumping offsides. All right, guys, I cannot wait to introduce you to our team. We have the movable object, Mr. Joe Happe, National Championship Bulldog, and all SEC center.
Hey, Dana, how you doing? And I'm very happy to be here, okay? Really looking forward to talking about the dog game and the SEC and everything else. But before I do that, let me introduce my brother Jim, also a college football player. He played linebacker. He lived on the other side of the ball, so we've got a different approach on life. But take it away, Jim.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. There's nothing like being a defensive player in a room where you know you had to play defense to be an athlete. So it's wonderful to be here. Looking forward to the conversation. Yeah, it happens. You know, you can't play defense, you play O-line. That's the way it works. Let me introduce Tyler Megna. Tyler Megna is sitting in his personal parlor of parlays as we speak. He's going to enlighten us on the must-wins, must-take games of the week. Tyler, over to you.
Hey guys, happy to be here. Never played a snap of football, but I love to watch it and I love to throw some money on it. So hopefully I can help out some listeners and give you guys some good picks.
I need help.
Shedding light is important. Back to you, Dana.
Tyler's here to make me rich, and you guys are here to make me happy.
Yes. We've heard a few.
I know.
Yeah, we've heard that a few times throughout our lifetime.
Really? Sure. Oh, I thought I was being original.
Yeah, and we'll get back on that offense-defense thing, I'm sure, in the future. So.
You can't avoid it.
No, let's get into it. What about them dogs?
You know, some people have to remember the snap count, so that's why you play offense. But anyway, but the dogs. Dana, what a game, and what a turn from the Alabama situation where we were just so concerned. Are we gonna win another game? Can we win another big game? Questions about Gunner. Can you believe that? Isn't it amazing what a few weeks will do?
I know.
I have never seen a game like that ever, where we never punted. Okay, I'm sure if we go back in the history books, there might be a time when Georgia never punted the ball, but every time they had the ball, they scored either 3 points or a touchdown. I've never seen it. It's unbelievable.
It was fortuitous, his parents naming him Gunner Stockton, right? Man. I mean, like, seriously, because that was some gunslinging going on in that game. It was exciting to watch.
And so many people were concerned about him being the guy. I don't think we have that anymore. So he's gone from the hot seat to Heisman in a couple of weeks. So, super excited about it. I hear Ugga in the background. Yes, absolutely. No doubt about it.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, let me jump in here. All right, so you opened up Pandora's box there, Joe. Gunner versus Beck. What do you do? Who do you go with?
Well, I think more importantly, who does the team go with? And I think it's overwhelming that his teammates prefer Gunner, love Gunner. I mean, Beck, as far as like an NFL talent, probably higher up the board for sure. But as far as a leader, a quarterback that the team gets behind, it's Gunner. I mean, I'll never forget last year when Beck went down and Gunner came in, the sidelines went crazy. It was almost embarrassing for Beck, where it's like he almost got trampled by the sidelines just going crazy because Gunner went in there. And guess what? What did he do? So he reinforced what their enthusiasm was all about. So in my opinion, hey, even though Beck had a horrible game, that's not fair to, evaluate him solely on that. There's no question about that. I mean, he's a heck of a quarterback, but as far as a team leader and a guy that the whole team gets behind, it's Gunner.
I couldn't agree more. And you did feel the energy shift when Gunner got into that game. I mean, it was like,
yes.
I mean, it was spiritual almost, where you felt the energy shift.
Right.
Dana, let me chime in again. Did you know right now? And again, Joe alluded to the fact that Beck had a tough game, right? Obviously, epically difficult game. Gunner has a 90% quarterback rating at this stage of the season. Beck has an 81%. That puts Gunner number 2 in the nation quarterback rating. Beck is down to 15. So, NFL prospect, who cares at this juncture? It's, it's not about that. It's about winning. It's about performing. It's about owning the sideline and the rest of the locker room. So
we're trying to,
I could agree with you more.
Yeah. And don't you think it has something to do? And Joe, you and I have talked about this before, that there's a portion of being an incredible athlete, and then there's a portion of being a humble teammate that gets you that well-rounded prospect. I don't know if the NFL, I mean, who's looking at him, right? I mean, the kid was, when he's playing for Georgia, he's driving around a Lamborghini. Nobody wanted to, I mean, you're being super arrogant. That's not Gunner Stockton's thing. I think that's why he is an incredible teammate and an incredible leader, because it's a team effort versus a look at me kind of thing. And so in the NFL, I think that whenever you're being drafted, they're looking at that too. Like, we don't need another diva in the NFL.
Yeah, that's a really good. That's a really good point. And so we talk about with the new look of college football, how it's closer to the NFL. Here's where it is different and will always be different, where you'll have a Gunner Stockton who will be, one of the top players in the country, and probably, might not make it as a pro, might not, but he's just phenomenal. His presence is phenomenal at the college level because of all those other intangibles that we talk about. It kind of reminds me of my quarterback, Buck Bellew. Buck was by no means the most talented quarterback in the SEC. I mean, he was a very talented guy. He played baseball as well as football. Don't get me wrong. But as far as just a gunslinger, absolutely not. But Buck had he had a confidence about him that he shared with us in the huddle. So as an offensive player, especially an offensive lineman, you look to the quarterback. You absolutely look to him. And there's no question that they do that with Gunner.
You want to hear what Kirby said about Gunner?
Let's hear it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm old, man. I was walking. The play Gunner made today now, guys, he took it to another level, because, I mean, they got a blitz to tackle the back. They got a guy covering the tight end of the flat, and they got a guy running right at him. He pulled the ball, beat the guy blitzing, and then ran for a touchdown. Had some huge scrambles, great throws on time, darts. His oblique, the shots he took at Auburn, he's beat up, and we're like, okay, well, we won't use you in the quarterback run game. We'll get to you. Coach, I want to run it. There was no flinch in him. He's wired for these type moments. He's tough, and his team believes in him.
Wired.
Love it.
He's wired. He's wired for this. He's tough. And these are compliments coming from Kirby. I mean, so, he doesn't just dish them out on a daily basis. And so Gunner has earned it. I went to practice in August, and it was just the middle of preseason practice, and Kirby was all over him. I mean, just really applying pressure, along with the rest of the team too, because he knew he was going to be in these situations, and trying to prepare him as much as he could for ultimately what he had to deal with and what he did.
I think that's a new hashtag, no flinch. That's a new Nike shirt. Like, let's go. I love it. No flinch.
Yeah, and honestly, it's a really it's a surprising stat that I guarantee you most people walking around, Jim, have no idea his stats compared to Beck and others, right? I mean, it's just, you don't look at Gunner as having those high numbers like that. It's really impressive.
It really is unbelievable. Before we jump into the SEC roundup, and Dana, I don't want to jump in too much, but in order to save his oblique, in order to save his body, do you think Bobo needs to start running the ball more? Does it engage the offensive line to run more? Are they wired to run the ball more? I personally believe you got to drive the ball down the throat of the defense.
Well, I mean, they did a lot better with the running game. Absolutely. They've improved a whole bunch. I mean, I mean, just look at what they did against Austin Peay, which wasn't a whole lot. So you look at Austin Peay compared to Ole Miss. Clearly, there's progress, especially when you're dealing with 2 freshman offensive linemen in the SEC. That's pretty impressive. But I would argue that at this point, midway through the season, they're not really freshmen anymore. I mean, they've hung in there, and they're getting better every week. And you're right, absolutely. We really need to take advantage of some, three backs that we've got that are really good.
Yep.
To kind of take the pressure off of Gunner. However, I've heard Kirby say many times what drives him crazy as a defensive coach are mobile quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
And that's what Gunner is. Gunner drives defenses crazy.
Richie Gannon.
Uh,
Hey, before we move on, Tyler, how much money did you lose because Georgia didn't cover, or vice versa? It just killed me.
Oh yeah, I absolutely had Ole Miss plus 7.5, and that did not hit. So
I'm
back to
brother.
a cover there at the end. We won't go into the financials.
yeah.
All right. So if we do have Dana, do you have any particular order that you want to cover the SEC roundup in?
No, get into it, guys. I mean, let's just go.
I'm sorry, but I cannot start without starting with Baton Rouge. It is a dumpster fire. You
Right.
talked about the complete opposite, Dana, of what Georgia looks like right now and is trending. Those guys couldn't block a soul to save their life. And again, granted, they're playing a very intelligent defense at Vanderbilt. Did you like how I threw that in there, Joe? Intelligent defense.
Yeah, they don't
The
jump off
fact-
sides. Yeah.
They do not jump off sides, and the LSU guys couldn't get out of their own way to make a block, and it leads me to believe. Again, it's way too soon to talk about it, but is Kelly the right guy in Baton Rouge?
I feel like LSU's kind of struggled in every game this year. It's been pushing it every year or every game, and they just haven't had that big breakout year yet. Now, is it Kelly? I don't know, but I feel like it's been scary for them all year. As a fan, you have got to be like, guys, when is it going to be our time again? So,
I think the only solution for them is Nick Saban. I think that
boy.
somehow they got to figure out a deal to bring him back there, right? Which is not going to happen, which is a good thing. It's not going to happen. But think about it. I mean, look at what Nick Saban did to that program. LSU is unique. I mentioned before where I visited LSU on a recruiting trip, and I said, I had a great time. I was like, there's no way I'm coming here. It's a different place. It's a different atmosphere. It's crazy. There's so many distractions. I think that's one of the biggest challenges for LSU is that, it's just different in the Bayou, and it's really hard to stay focused, and you needed a Nick Saban to keep those guys focused to win and win like they did. They had moments. Ed Orgeron had what's his name, the Heisman Trophy winner, Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, how can we forget him? But again, so you carry the team on your backs, a special player like him. But year in and year out, it's just hard to stay focused and win the games you're supposed to win on a consistent basis.
Well, to me, the other thing I looked at it, though, I mean, you break it down, again, the linebackers look good. Linebackers always look good. But at the end of the day, the offensive line was suspect. Now, they had a couple injuries. I understand that. However, the defensive line is small, and they're not athletic. So LSU has been known for historically producing unbelievable, outstanding, aggressive, athletic, strong defensive linemen, and they're just not sitting there.
Yeah. So that's a whole nother conversation, and that is who is managing the portal, who has got the edge on the portal, and who would have thought that we would say that Vandy might have the edge on LSU regarding the portal, right? Crazy.
Agreed.
They're not finding those big guys. They're not being able to bring those big guys in the middle like they have in the past.
Agreed. I mean, we could talk about the rest of the SEC up and down the lineup. I don't know. I mean, Missouri's doing some interesting things. You've got, obviously, Vandy is an unbelievable story. Auburn, Tyler, I'm sorry, is a dumpster fire.
Absolute dumpster fire.
And they're looking for answers, and I just don't know. Dana, you brought up the other day. I mean, I just don't know whether money can solve it right now.
So we
I think too, I mean, when you have these you have to sell these players on the passion of, like, I feel like Vandy's recruiters are out there going, look, do you want to be part of history? Do you want to be part of something incredible? Do you want to watch Vandy come from where no one's talking about him to where everyone's talking about him? So what are you saying to these players to drive home that passion and to get them to buy in? I mean, you have buy-in with Alabama, you have buy-in with Georgia, but, Auburn's been struggling for years. So what is the buy-in? I want to go play for someone for the next, because we already know they're only playing for 1 or 2 years, guys, in these colleges, and then they're being pulled up by the NFL. So it's like, who's selling the passion? Who's selling the story for these guys?
You know what?
They're staff.
Yeah, so you're right. They're either going to be pulled up to the NFL or they're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah,
right?
Or they're going to go to Georgia.
They're going to bounce. They're going to bounce. It's crazy. All that we said about LSU, I'm predicting they beat Texas A&M this weekend. As crazy as that sounds. Why? Because now they're in a hole and they're in a corner, and now these talented guys are going to be focused to go in there and wreak havoc. I think that they're so just.
Well, maybe Brian Kelly gets a little discipline about him, right? And he gets these guys on track. Who knows? Because I'll tell you right now, if you listen to Lane Kiffin talking about coaching under Saban, it didn't matter if they won a national championship. Saban was on the phone with him at 7:30 in the morning the very next day going, all right, let's get to the recruits, right? What are we doing, right? We were able to play in a national championship because of our discipline, because of what we do. It's not time to celebrate and lay down. I mean, he never gave those guys a break.
Yeah.
The GOAT. So glad he's gone.
So glad he's gone.
Hey, let's stay right there, Dana. Let's stay on those 2 schools that you just mentioned, Mississippi and Florida. Do you flip those coaches? Does Napier end up at an Ole Miss? Does Napier end up at an Auburn? Does Napier end up at Mississippi State? What's going on with Napier? And is Lane Kiffin the answer for Florida? I don't know. I mean, right now you've got 9 coaching changes. We're jumping down at the coaching carousel, but you got 9 coaching changes. It ain't over, right? At the end of the day, that equates to 18 coaching changes. But is there another Belichick out there that's going to come off a camera and coach on a sideline? Probably. Is Urban Meyer going to make an appearance again? Are there other guys like Jimbo Fisher? Obviously, he's throwing his hat in the ring. Now, Tyler, tell me about Mullen out in UNLV. Is he still doing his thing?
He is still doing his thing. And I saw a post on X the other day, someone asking him to come coach at Arkansas, and he said, absolutely not. He was not having any of that. So I think that this is going to be very interesting. I think you're going to have Auburn in this mix come the offseason, hopefully, and Florida State, hopefully. So there's going to be some big programs that are looking for coaches. I don't know who the guys are going to be. I mean, you can hope.
James Franklin. Does James Franklin end up? Yeah. Where's James Franklin going to end up? He says he wants to coach and coach immediately.
So he will.
He will.
He definitely will.
Yeah.
I don't think Napier is going to find a big spot. I mean, I like the nickname Sunbelt Billy, and I think he'll find his way back into the Sunbelt.
Well, hey, that's not a bad place to rest your hat, man. No.
Yeah, not a bad place to have a career, right?
Yeah.
No doubt.
But I think that Freeze is not going to make it. Hugh Freeze is not going to make it. Auburn cannot afford to keep him. They have to win because Alabama has surprised the heck out of me, where I thought that Alabama was going to become another Oklahoma, a great tradition-rich program, but their best years were behind them. That was my thought. That was my hope, quite frankly, right? But this guy, DeBoer, has reloaded, and he has got a fantastic quarterback right there neck and neck with Gunner, I think.
I agree.
And you have to have a big-time quarterback in order to win this conference. And they've got him. So,
well, I think it goes back to that leadership piece, right? I mean, Ty Simpson, he's super humble. Those guys love him. They're following him to the end of the earth. That's it. And, I mean, you and I talked about, you told me about how, Buck was the leader and you had one of the greatest running backs ever. Herschel Walker is just like, tell me more. Tell me more. What can I do for you? Right. That's what you need. That's as long as you can pull in guys that have those leadership skills that are humble, hungry, and smart behind the football. I mean, it doesn't take much after that. All right, we're going to SEC. Or no, going to ACC. Sorry. Going to the
ACC.
Man, speaking of good coaches, what's up with Dabo?
Oh man, he needs to stop talking. He's making it worse. He's digging the hole even deeper.
I know.
Right?
Hey, before we do that, I think it's important that we look at what is happening at the quarterback position at Georgia Tech is the same thing that's happening in Atlanta is happening in Athens. You've got a individual that we all watched 7 overtimes last year against Georgia.
Eight
overtime.
I mean, good Lord. I mean, this guy is doing the same thing again. He is destroying his body for the W week in and week out. Much props to Haynes King. I mean, because they continue to do it. Now, does Tech have the difficult road ahead of them? Not quite as that we would see in the SEC, but they're beating everybody that they put in front of them, and Haynes King is leading the way.
I think it's incredible what they're doing. And obviously not a Tech fan per se, but super proud of where that program has come this year and love watching my Tech friends get excited about their season finally. And, we'll see, right? Like, it's those weird games with Georgia Tech. Will we pull it out? We don't know. I feel confident that we will. And at the same time, these guys have got great momentum for the year. I mean, they've got something to prove. They want to prove that they can not only beat their schedule, but that they can beat SEC too.
Yeah, the days of it being a scrimmage is over. It is a rivalry now, and it's not going to change. Brent Key is their guy, and it's really cool when you look at his background, his history. Grew up in Alabama, played for Tech, then he goes over, and he's part of that Saban tree. Him and Kirby and Lane Kiffin together coaching over there. It's just unbelievable. So he comes back to his alma mater, and he's just taking care of business. He's maximizing all the pluses that Tech has, right? Talked about this before. Georgia can't sign everybody. So Tech's going to get their share, and they're going to get that Haynes King for a transfer from Texas A&M, and they're going to get the right people, and they're going to be around for a while. It's a rivalry again, which is a good thing, I guess.
Yes, it is.
All right. So at the end of the day, right, you go up and down the ACC, Dana, and it's kind of the have and have nots again, right? You don't have that consistent, 6-7 teams that are going to be at the top of the heap. You're going to have 2 or 3, it looks like right now. You've got Tech, and maybe Miami backs in. Miami historically has folded the tents up, in the coming weeks. But, what are they going to do? How are they going to bounce back? Is Cristobal the guy to keep them relevant in the conversation? If not, Tech has got that pathway to be, I can't believe I'm going to say it, but one of the final 12 standing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And we've had some people that looked like they were going to get there this year, and then they flopped. But Tech has been consistent this entire season. Again, it's the only thing to talk about in the ACC as far as if you're in the state of Georgia, right? I mean, everybody else is just kind of. We were really hoping FSU was going to come out and do something because they beat Alabama in that very home opener. We're like, what is happening? And then they flopped. It's just,
Clemson and FSU have really let the conference down.
So bad. And again, great coaches. What we thought were great coaches, but just they're not pulling it out this year. I don't know what's going on with them, but
I think it's a double-edged sword, right? Unfortunately, both of those programs were very, very, very outspoken about, equitable distribution of funds throughout the conference. They exposed themselves, right? And now they've got egg on the face. That all said, Tyler, is there any way, as an assignment for next week, is there any way to determine the NIL bucket from the ACC compared to the SEC compared to the Big Ten? I mean, these collectives from the Big Ten and the collectives from the SEC seem to be outraising funds in a large way at the macro level, right? Conference versus conference.
I'm sure there's a vast gap between, SEC Big Ten and the ACC Big 12, but I really don't think the NIL is the problem for, big programs like Florida State and Clemson. I think it's, at least for them, the reason they want to leave the ACC so bad is, of course, revenue sharing, and the TV contracts are so much bigger for the SEC and the Big Ten than the ACC. So getting out of the conference would be able to allow them to have more money to pump into the program. And I know Florida State just opened a brand new football facility, I think literally this week. I mean, they had just renovated Doak Campbell. They're pumping money into the program. They're just not getting a ton of money back for TV and everything. So you've got the two programs that lead the ACC in viewership. I mean, I assume, I don't know when the TV deal is up. I think it's 2029 or 2028. I think that's when they'll skedaddle. And hopefully, for my sake, Florida State will find its way back up to the top. I thought we were there this year, but doesn't seem to be the case. And one thing on Clemson, I think that's a very interesting one because I think they've started to play a little bit better recently. I don't think it's going to be enough, but I'm not on the fire Dabo train personally.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Got a flag, delay of game. Oh, all right, guys. Well, we're going to come back in a minute and we're going to talk NFL. So let's wrap this up. College.
Well, no, we got a top 25. We got a top 25 graphic to put up first.
Let's do that. Let's do the top 25 graphic first. Is a delay a game on you? Okay, good. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Look at that. Top 25. Woo, I'm sure glad we're back in the top
Is this
5.
the right one? I mean, this is the AP top 25.
Yeah, that works. I mean, that works. And holy cow, who would have ever thought that you'd see a V in the 10 spot, right?
No.
Unbelievable.
Who would have ever thought that, man? That is
Or even a U.
Or an IU in the 2 spot.
Maybe a U. Yeah, I thank you, an IU. This is not basketball. Crazy.
I know.
Crazy.
Is it time for too soon CFP predictions while we're looking at this top 25?
Yeah, that's probably what. Yeah.
Yeah. So my opinion, Ohio State belongs there. They're for real. Indiana, it's too soon, but they keep looking good, man. They're so sound. A&M, too soon for A&M too. They're not used to being there, and you got to be up every week. I think LSU is going to knock them off.
Wow.
This Saturday.
I like that upset.
Alabama, absolutely. Alabama needs to be there, and the Dogs need to be there as well. So the Ducks, absolutely. Tech, maybe a little too soon, too much for that. Ole Miss, absolutely. I think Ole Miss is going to beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma's favored, but I think they'll beat Oklahoma. And then the Canes, they don't play anybody else. And Vandy's got a tough road. We'll see if they can hold.
Yeah.
My only small rebuttal to that is, or at least for Miami, I know they don't play anybody, but they have the same syndrome that Texas A&M has, where they just love to lose at the end of the year. They'll go A&M. Texas A&M is just 8-4 written all over their name, and Miami will probably fall. I forget who they play at the end of the year, but I know it's not great, but they'll find a way to lose it. I do think Louisville was a pretty good team, and I don't hold much weight on that loss.
Great coach.
Yeah. I think Miami will have an embarrassing loss to end the year, and then they might still make it to the ACC championship, but I don't see them going much farther than that.
Yeah, so I think that what top of the ACC is really 3 schools. It's Tech, it's Miami, it's Louisville.
That's Louisville. Yep.
All right, guys. When we come back, let's talk NFL.
In this world where attention is hard won, Storytel.media turns your vision into visuals and sounds that grab hold of people. I'm Ty Towers, and I'm a hands-on AV nerd with 35 years in broadcast production. I personally run camera, sound, lighting, edit content, design graphics, and arrange music. My knack for rhythm fueling razor-sharp edits. Leading a tight-knit team, we deliver stunning visuals and powerful messaging. While I've been honored with Emmy, Telly, and Promax awards, I really focus on your trust first and foremost. For leading companies, including industrial manufacturing clients, we bring trust and discretion and relaxed environments where your executives will shine naturally. We execute your vision with precision, making your story unforgettable. Discover our story at storytell.media and let's make your story shine.
All right, guys, we're back. Let's jump into NFL. Actually, you know what? We're going to just do an honorable mention because Jim is headed to the Hawks game later today. So we can't wait to hear all about the Hawks and what they're going to be doing.
I will
this
report
season.
back next week. Yes,
Can't
you will
wait.
get a full report.
And then we still do have some baseball going on, Joe.
Yeah, I'm going to kick it over to Jim because Jim and Tyler are all over the baseball.
I'll pass
All
it
right,
to
Tyler,
Tyler as well. But
who do you got, Tyler?
Well, I would love for Toronto to win, but my realistic expectation is for the Dodgers to win in probably 5 games. I saw a post. It was, you got the Mariners and the Blue Jays fighting tooth and nail, similar rosters, not huge markets. And then they get to go face the $1 billion Dodgers team that's on a couple days of rest. So I don't have high hopes, but maybe they can pull it out. But my guess is Dodgers in probably 5 games.
You agree with that, Jim?
yeah, the only thing I would alter it is maybe even 4. It could be a sweep.
Maybe.
A Tony is. You had probably the most epic baseball performance in
Ever.
history last week. You had a guy pitch 6 scoreless innings and hit 3 home runs. It's Babe Ruth kind of stuff. Yeah, it's just unbelievable. And insult to injury to the SEC, we just lost Tony, the coach from University of Tennessee. Just went on. Buster Posey pulled him out to San Francisco. So another good man gone to San Francisco.
Okay, so NFL, guys. Let's just go right to it. It's the Falcons for me all day long. And the loss that we had was just unbearable. It was unbearable. I ended up turning it off when I knew that there was no coming back for that, which is about, a minute and 46 seconds left in the game. And I was just went to bed sick. Tyler, what happened?
Well, we Falconsed ourselves. That's just what we do. We like to trick people into thinking that we are something we're not. I think that this team is pretty good. I think the Bills win got a lot of false hope in people's heads. If you look back the week before, we lost to Carolina 30-0. Carolina's not a bad team, but they're not good enough to beat us 30-0. So there's definitely some flaws still going on. I think a lot offensively is my interpretation. I'm not huge on Zach Robinson. I think they've taken some strides, but I kind of saw that game coming. It is unfortunate how it ended, but I don't know. I'm hoping that we can turn it around. Luckily, we play the Dolphins this week, but
that's another dumpster fire, right?
Yeah,
you're
seems
gonna,
like
you're
typical
watch.
Falcons.
Yeah, you're going to watch the battle of the bottom. I will take a counterpoint. I think the Falcons are suffering from self-inflicted wounds. I think they've got to take a deep breath and get better football people in there to make decisions above and beyond the field of play. Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, so they have the pieces and parts, they have the players, they have the talent, and they show that by blowing out Buffalo,
Yep.
right? And so they're inconsistent, and so there's this piece of chemistry that a team has to have where you're going to lean on each other and you're going to be up for every game, and they're just not there. And
Yep.
It's not an X's and O's thing. It's just not.
I felt like the defense was still doing amazing. And
Absolutely.
Listen, Christian McCaffrey trained Bijan in the offseason. Okay, so let's just go ahead and talk about the fact that our defense was basically up against the same weapon that we have, if not a little bit better, more seasoned. Way more tricks up his sleeve. And then I also felt like Penix looked like the rookie that he is. And I know Jim doesn't like for me to say that. And at the same time, he still is kind of a baby. He's kind of a baby. And he looked rattled. And he was, just flopping the ball around like it wasn't important. But I do want to talk a little controversy because a former NFL ref came out and said that the Niners should not have gotten the touchdown that they were given. I think we have, here it is. Here's the article that says referee believes Christian McCaffrey's game-stealing touchdown against the Falcons should not have been counted because they pulled him into the end zone.
Yep.
And that is an actual rule.
Push is fine, pull is no. Yep.
Yeah.
And NBC even immediately covered it right after it happened. They brought in their in-house ref and said that should not have counted.
So can we just go ahead and say we won that game then?
Yeah. Dana, you got to let it go. You got to let it go. We got to move on. Unfortunately, yeah.
I can't let it go. I'm an Auburn fan. We've been getting hosed by the refs all year, so this just adds to it.
But
we would just like to applaud you from Georgia.
Oh my goodness gracious! Wow.
But the Niners
too soon.
Too soon. The Niners have been there, done that. I mean, the coaching staff, a lot of the players,
solid.
It's just they know what they're going to do in the fourth quarter. They know what they got to do and how they got to do it. And without Purdy, but you got a guy in there that was trained under the GOAT, right?
Yeah.
The GOAT yelling at him every day for 3 years. Nothing rattles you. Nothing rattles you once you've been through what he's been through at Alabama. Yeah. So, even though he's a backup, that's a pretty good backup.
Agreed. Yeah. Okay, so what do we think about Ray McCloud getting taken off the roster?
I'll miss him.
Mid-season. Something happened.
Yeah, I think from what I've seen, he was upset with us firing our wide receiver coach. And he probably viewed it as him being scapegoated, as a lot of the fan base did too. I assume something went on behind doors. We probably won't know until Ray goes on a podcast in a couple years and talks about it, but I assume it wasn't pretty. He was posting on social media his support for the Falcons on Sunday, but I don't know. I would love to know what went on behind closed doors.
Yeah, he wants that last few million of that contract probably.
Of course.
So, and speaking of, Jalen Waddle was also removed from Miami's roster. So is that something that we?
Whoa.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
I believe that was today also. So
to Jimmy's point, what do these two teams have in common? This is not a good thing when you're getting rid of players and you've got controversy. You're not
mid-season, right?
Yeah, things are not good, and they usually don't end up good either.
Let's go back to the beginning of the show. What we can say about these two teams in the NFL, they're easy to kill. Kirby would not want to coach those two teams because they're very easy to kill.
That's true.
Why do you is the blank check still sitting in Kirby's locker in Athens to go to Atlanta and coach Atlanta? Are they still offering just a blank check scenario? Come on.
I hope not.
I hope so.
I hope not. Yeah.
All right, let's flip it around a little bit, Dane, on the NFL piece of it. Let's talk about, who are those 2 or 3 or 4 surprise players thus far or teams thus far in the league? Tyler, you take a first swing at it.
I'll tell you my favorite team to watch right now, and they might not be winning a lot, but it's absolutely the Giants. I was so excited for that quarterback room in the preseason. You had, you got Dart, you had Jameis Winston, you had Tommy DeVito, and then you had Russell Wilson, who was just get him out of here. Didn't want any part of that. And so they finally benched him. Of course, DeVito's gone. They couldn't have 4 quarterbacks, but they finally benched Russ. And now you got Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. It's so entertaining. And the game they played on Sunday, even though they're on the losing deal of it, that might have been one of the best NFL games ever. The Broncos scored 33 in the fourth to win. That was nuts.
Crazy.
And even the overtime was great.
Yeah.
The overtime is Sean Payton going after Russell Wilson on social media. You just can't make it up.
Russ responding.
Exactly. You
dropped a nice stick for once.
Yeah.
Yep. Too funny.
As much as I hate to admit it, the Bucs, man, Tampa Bay has been just solid this year. And, as a Falcons fan, you never want to say it. You just don't want to say it but at the same time, they showed us who they were at the beginning of the year. And we were like down on ourselves thinking, man, we should have never gotten beat by the Bucs, but they've proven to be consistent even after that. So.
Well, it's because they got the wild man at quarterback. Jimmy, you tell me whether you agree with me or not. Even though he's a quarterback, he's an offensive player. Guys like him impact the defense. The defense feeds off of this guy's energy where, he's gonna, stick, put his head down and just try to get that first down, not slide, not go out of bounds, headbutting after touchdowns. it impacts the whole team, including the defense. And
he was forced to play quarterback early. He would much rather be a strong safety, period. He plays like a strong safety. Baker Mayfield is he is on the way to being the I think the MVP of the league if he stays healthy. They stay on the path they're on. Great coaching staff, to your point, Dana. This is a program that has the chops and has the desire and has the drive and is not worried about everything else that goes into an NFL city. Tampa Bay is focused on winning football games.
Yep.
Everything else is insignificant for them. So
yeah,
that's the way it feels.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're here with the Oracle of Odds. Let's get into the Tease Me Tyler segment. Tyler.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Dana. So I'm going to highlight my 3 favorite plays for the week. Starting off right here, we got a Mountain West Conference battle. San Diego State and Fresno State, 2 top, I wouldn't say the top 2 in the Mountain West, but 2 top contenders there. San Diego State has been unreal against the spread this year. They're 5-1. I mean, you can see it right here. FanDuel gives you some nice data on it. All the money is on San Diego State, which is a bit of a concern. That tends to set up the sportsbook quite nicely. But 2.5 seems pretty nice to me. You're not worried about anything more than a field goal. So that's one. That's maybe my favorite play. Another play I'd like to highlight here, a big group of 5 game. Memphis was clearly looking ahead to this game last week with their loss to UAB. I like South Florida here, less than a touchdown. They've also been really good against the spread. So is Memphis up until last week. These teams were easily the top 2 playoff contenders for the group of 5. I just think South Florida is bigger. Their quarterback is more experienced. I believe Memphis has a bit of a problem right now with their starting quarterback, and they might be going to the backup. I'm not entirely sure there, and I'm sure if the backup is now starting, that line might shift. But for now, 5.5, pretty juicy to me. You've got most of the money on South Florida here as well, about 2/3, which again, a little bit of a concern, but I still like it. 5.5 is a great play there. And my last play, same line here, Temple at Tulsa. Temple has been very good this year. Their one hiccup, at least gambling-wise, was when they played Oklahoma, but that was a really good team. You can't hang your hat on that spread too much. Temple's outside of that game undefeated against the spread, and they cover it nicely every week. So I'd take Temple 5.5 against Tulsa.
That's awesome. Before we move on from there, Joe, tell me a little bit about that Temple coach. I know you got a little bit of tribal knowledge there.
Yeah, so Temple, that's a pretty cool turnaround where Temple has struggled. They've had great years in the past. They've been really a roller coaster, but they got a guy named Casey Keeler as their head coach first year. He played at Delaware, was a heck of a player at Delaware, and we were both free agents with the Eagles together.
Wow.
And I remember him. He's got quite a personality. He was a free agent that played outside linebacker at Delaware, and he tried out in the NFL as a free safety and really did a pretty good job. And you can tell he was destined to be a heck of a coach with just his personality and stuff like that. So he's a winner. Everywhere he's been, he's a winner. He was at Sam Houston State for a couple years and turned that thing around. And now he's going home. And I think he's going to do a great job at Temple. I think it's pretty cool, Tyler, looking at these. These are not, SEC games, which a lot of people kind of get distracted by and focus on. With this segment, we're trying to figure out where can we win? Where can we make some money? So it's interesting looking at a lot of games that people might not be focused on.
Absolutely. I agree. And if you're still in communication with Coach, let him know. 5.5, please.
I hear you. Yeah, and then the South Florida coach, that South Florida Memphis game. I mean, this is probably his last year at South Florida. He's going to be moving on. He's a heck of a coach. He could very well take advantage of one of these SEC openings. South Florida is very explosive. They beat the Gators, so he might have the inside scoop on that. Just moving from Tampa over to Gainesville.
Awesome.
I love it. All right, guys, that's it for Offsides today. We can't wait to be back with you next week as Jim updates us on the Hawks. And we take a much-needed rest for the Bulldogs. Watch Georgia Tech, that rambling wreck, do their thing again this weekend. We love you guys. See you next week.
Hey, all you sports freaks, Offsides is a new show that's jumping to go offsides on the Sports Talk. You can find our full-length programs at YouTube, X, and Rumble. And we're going to have a lot of humorous shorts for you at TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and X. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a share, please. We would be forever grateful.